Welcome to Pod of the Dead. On today's episode, we will be talking about the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer. On today's first lightning round episode, we are going to get into it. I am your host, Nicholas, and with me, as always, are two beautiful ladies, Stephanie and Natasha.
Hello.
Hello.
So last week, fucking banger. We watched The Witch. So badass. This week, God
This
damn.
is my fault. This is my fault. My fault.
Shall we call it a palate cleanser?
Sure. Maybe we'll appreciate everything after this in comparison to this movie.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Okay, so let's start out by saying when we started this podcast, we all wrote down lists of movies that we wanted to see that either we had already seen and we wanted to rewatch in order to, review, or we wanted to see it as a whole that we had never seen before. So this was my pick, and it was on the list because I was like, man, I remember growing up, I really loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. And I was like, let's put this on the list. Oh, God. Okay, so let's context here. The movie came out by 20th Century Fox in 1992. So that would have mean that me and Nick were, 6 or 7 when this movie released. Tasha was probably still just getting out of diapers.
I was 3. If it came out in 92.
She's still in diapers.
Yeah. So, that's contextually, that's where we're at. And so I was like, I want to rewatch it, see if I like it, if it holds up, because a lot of cult movies, or we'll just use that term loosely with this movie, but they sometimes they hold up really well. We watched Scream. That movie we all agreed on was awesome, and it really held up with its time. And so when I was like,
this is not Scream.
No, it's not.
It made me want to scream.
So we watched this movie last night as a rewatch. I probably haven't seen this movie since I was probably early teens. So a long time ago. So yeah. And then I've also watched the TV show, and I watched Angel and stuff. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but let's let Nick kind of bring us back into what we need to talk about here.
All right. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a 1992 American comedy horror film directed by Fran Rubel Kusi and starring Christy Swanson, Donald Sutherland, Paul Rubens, Rutger Hauer, Luke Perry, Hilary Swank, and David Arquette. Right there. How the fuck is this going to be bad? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just wait.
It follows a Valley Girl cheerleader named Buffy who learns that it is her fate to hunt vampires. It was a moderate success at the box office, but received mixed reception from critics. Oh, I'm going to give it some mixed response here. The film took a different direction from that which its writer, Joss Whedon, intended. So Joss Whedon is a huge name in Hollywood nowadays. He's responsible for writing and directing the first 2 Avengers movies.
Damn.
Yeah, he wrote the Buffy the Vampire Slayer television series. He wrote Serenity and Firefly. He co-wrote the movie Cabin in the Woods, which we will be doing on this podcast in the future. So the dude's like a Hollywood legit writing good juggernaut.
Yeah.
On paper, this movie should have been great.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. 5 years later, he created a darker and critically acclaimed television series of the same name. So the budget for this film, this is what I was kind of talking about last time. The Witch its budget was $4 million in 2015. So we're in 1992. This movie cost $7 million.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Where
the fuck did that money go? Where's the money, Lebowski?
It's the ears.
Oh, that's where it is.
Solid teeth.
Yep.
It's probably the fact that they paid for certain cameos, and then because of budget constraints and stuff and timing, they weren't able to get all these cameos in.
That's true.
Okay, so there is one cameo. I'll just say it right now and everything because it doesn't matter to the storyline or anything. But there's a DJ at a dance, and it's Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Oh.
And we also have Ben Affleck in here.
Thank you. Yep.
But
I read that his line was so bad, he had to have it dubbed over.
He's like, oh my God, I'm Ben Affleck. No, Ben, stop it.
I was like his first role.
Yeah.
But the ones that they wanted to have in, and I think we're in contact with, like they said that they were going to be in this film as cameos, were David Bowie.
Oh, damn.
Mick Jagger and Carrie Ewells, who is from The Princess Bride, and he's also in Stranger Things, like the main guy from The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for some reason the director was just like, yeah, no, we're just gonna put all these rock stars in this movie and just have them have cameos. This is where the $7 million had to have gone.
Yeah,
yeah.
Two of those million definitely went to Slash.
Yep.
Oh my God,
That's so bad.
Okay. I'm going to try and be professional.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do the normal stuff, and then we can tear this thing apart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the box office, though, they said it was a moderate success. $7 million budget. They did get a return on their investment. It was $16.6 million.
Okay.
In 1992. You know, like not too shabby. You know. So yeah, that's basically the history of it. My history with the film is I also remember seeing this when I was younger, and I remember liking specifically one character in the film played by Paul Rubens. He was my favorite character in the movie, and because of his Paul Rubens is he just passed recently, but he is the actor and creator of the beloved character Pee Wee Herman. So he's in this film playing a vampire, and his role as the vampire in this movie, I love. It's my favorite. There's also a couple other people that I didn't actually remember being in it that I liked their roles in it. And that's there are 3 characters in this movie that I like, and they're not the leads.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So can we talk about our reviews? We've got a 1 and a 10-star review.
Well, Tasha, real quick, what's your history with the film?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Didn't know it existed. And I actually...
I'm sorry that we did this to you.
Yeah, this was work, man. Yeah, I didn't know it existed. I thought it came out like as Buffy the show was out. Didn't realize that it came out well before. Yeah, so thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a 10 out of 10 review somehow on this movie, and we've got a 1 out of 10. Let's see here. Let's go with the 10 out of 10 first. Who's got the 10 out of 10?
I do, and it's very short, so that makes sense. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is an instant campy classic. Sure. Of course, it does not measure up to the series that followed, which is 1000% true. To compare them would be like comparing apples and oranges. The movie was funny and had a lot of slapstick comedy, while the series is dark and contains dark humor. Luke Perry and Kristy Swanson rock as a couple, and Donald Sutherland is a classic in his role as Merrick. Buffy the movie makes us all wish we were vampire slayers with special strengths and abilities.
We didn't watch the same movie.
No.
Shall I?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I just want to kind of they say that Luke Perry and Kristy Swanson in this movie rock as a couple. I actually, Luke Perry, I think was okay in it, but good Lord, this movie. Okay.
There was no build of a relationship, guys.
No.
There wasn't nothing. It was like, hey, we're in the same place at the same time. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what people do in movies.
Yeah.
All right, Tasha, what do you got for us?
I got a 1 out of 10. Abysmal, quote, comedy about a high school airhead learning she has a legacy to kill vampires. Donald Sutherland plays her mentor. Decent idea, horribly handled. The film was heavily edited before it came out. It's only 82 minutes because the studio realized what a bomb that had. It didn't help. Kristy Swanson is pretty good as Buffy, but Rutger Hauer is terrible as a lead vampire. He's a good actor, but no comedian. Luke Perry proves he can't do comedy. And Donald Sutherland phones in his performance. The script is unfunny and plotting. A total waste. This piece of crap would be totally forgotten if it didn't give us such a great TV series. Watch the series. It does everything right that the movie did wrong.
True.
Yep. So we're going to throw up the spoiler warning right now. And just, oh God. This is going to be rough. If you like Buffy, the movie, we're sorry.
Yep.
Because we all saw each other today. It was our son Wesley's birthday gathering, and we got to talk a little bit off. And yeah, we're just like, man, this is gonna be nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yep.
Yes.
So just for context, why this is the lightning round is last week's movie, 6 pages of notes. This movie, barely 2, because there's not a lot of plot. It's a popcorn movie, and it's just, here we go.
One of my notes is, this is not good. I don't remember writing that, but it's like halfway down the page.
God, Jesus took the wheel. Just wrote it for you.
Well, which part? When you start the movie and then it's like the hairy mole is what determines that they're slayers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh my God.
So we start in Europe, the Dark Ages. We see Donald Sutherland and a lady that kind of like looks like Christy Swanson's character Buffy, but it's in the Dark Ages, and they're kind of doing some stuff. Then cuts to current day. And I did kind of like this. It just says SoCal, the Light Ages. I was like, okay, right on.
Good one, writing.
Yep,
Yeah.
so good.
Yep.
And we've got Christy Swanson as a cheerleader. There's a coach that I don't know what they're trying to do with this coach, but
He's like a motivational speaker.
Yes.
all the time. He's like
a school
just remember,
counselor.
remember, guys, I am a person. I have a right to the ball. My eyes rolled so hard they about fell out of my head at this point already.
I can't believe we both put that as our notes because I have that on mine too. Yeah, that was just, and then their like mascot for their school is the Hogs, and on the wall there's like a banner that says, what is that? Hoop are something. Hold on, are viper bit. Oh, Hogs are viper bitten.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, it was right behind when they were cheerleading in the very first part of the movie, and I'm just like, what is that supposed to mean? Hogs are viper bitten?
I don't know.
No
The
idea.
school mascot was the scariest part of the whole movie. Like the actual guy in costume.
Yeah. So it cuts to these girls, they're Valley Girl-esque at the mall and everything. But we do get this dope-ass yellow leather jacket, so it gets a point for that.
Yeah.
Buffy's talking about this leather jacket and is like, couldn't you just see me in this? And her bitchy friend in her Hollywood debut, Hilary Swank, is like, that's like so 5 minutes ago and everything. So you're getting a lot of that. And this is at this point in the film already, I hate this because I hate that Valley Girl, like, oh my God kind of stuff. And it's the whole fucking movie and it just weighs on me.
It's one of my favorite like accents or like voices. But to hear it, oh man, like that's what I sound like.
But it's done
Oh my
poorly
God.
too.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like Clueless came out how many years later and they have a similar take in that terms of personality. And that works for that movie and it's actually like enjoyable.
I think the acting in this movie was just garbage.
Yeah, and
Except for a couple people, yes, it was.
And like it said earlier, like Rutger Hauer is in this movie, and he's like one of the leads in Blade Runner and stuff. He's also in like one of my favorite like kind of like exploitation horror action films called Hobo with a Shotgun. It's fucking amazing. I hope we get to review it here. But he's a really good actor. And he is so fucking bad in this movie.
Yeah.
And same with Donald Sutherland. I've got some notes about this, but like Donald Sutherland is a really good actor.
Really good actor.
Yeah.
And like when they say he phones it in, I found out the reason it doesn't make sense. But like, so Joss Whedon had written this character of Merrick and stuff, and Donald Sutherland just kept rewriting his own scenes and stuff.
Wow.
It was basically like insufferable. So I've got screenwriter Joss Whedon found Donald Sutherland extremely difficult to be around. Sutherland rewrote most of his dialogue and scenes, often making the scenes incomprehensible in Whedon's opinion. Whedon praised Sutherland's abilities as an actor, but called his behavior rude and Sutherland a dick.
Okay.
So like, I would love to see like what was on the page, what Donald Sutherland was supposed to do, because if we're to believe this, everything he does is just flat and boring. Even when he dies in the film, there's no reaction. It's just he gets stabbed. It's just like, this is happening.
Yep.
But anyway, so we get Donald Sutherland just ominously, maybe he's just staring. He does a lot of staring in this movie.
Being a creep.
And then we meet Luke Perry and David Arquette, who play Pike. Luke Perry plays Pike, and I don't have the name right here, but David Arquette's character, Benny. And David Arquette is good in this movie. Like,
he's the best actor in this whole movie.
I agree. I got a soft spot for that guy.
He's super fun in this movie.
Yes.
I did see some review that said they knew this movie sucked by the fact that they saw that David Arquette was in it.
He's a good actor.
Which I was kind of shocked by, because I was like, he was in Scream. Like, Scream's a good movie. Like, are we saying that there's
Just
quite
David
a few...
Arquette.
Yeah, like I understand there's films that he's been in that aren't the greatest and stuff, but like I have a soft spot for him, like from my childhood. He was in Ready to Rumble, which was like a WCW wrestling movie. I fucking love that movie. It's so fucking funny. I watched it a couple years ago. Still holds up. It's just sophomore humor, but it's funny.
I think you made our children watch that like a year or so ago, and they were like, "We're not doing this."
It's so good.
You know that he almost got killed wrestling in real life?
Oh.
Yeah, he was wrestling Nick Gage, and Nick Gage like basically cut him real deep with some barbed wire. It was an accident and everything, but basically like David Arquette was like, like, I want to do it real. I want to go hard. Nick Gage is like legit like one of the hardest of the hardcore wrestlers, and he's like, all right, you're in my world now, boy, and fucked him up.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a documentary about David Arquette's wrestling career. It's good and kind of sad.
That's weird. Okay, I did not know that. I'm learning all kinds of new things.
Yes. So if you want to know more about David Arquette, check it out.
Yeah. So we get, God, it's almost painful to have to go through these notes because I'm just reliving the film.
Yeah.
So Buffy sees her boyfriend in a car, jumps over her boyfriend's friend to give him a kiss and stuff, and we've got this guy like just ogling her ass and says, I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but can I borrow her? And it's
gross.
Such garbage.
Gross. The whole movie is steeped in this kind of like just sexist, just garbage.
And so we then, my notes, it literally was like me just like suffering. So like the synopsis of this film just kind of jumps forward. So we get to the point where her boyfriend, I've just got him named as Eyebrows because he has a very serious brow and everything.
His name's Jeffrey.
Well, Jeffrey is now Eyebrows. He's getting stalked. He's walking like late at night.
Oh, no, that's not the boyfriend. That's the friend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the
just
jock friend. So I will backtrack here. So we meet Luke Perry and David Arquette's characters in the movie theater, and the girls are sitting in front of them and they're being obnoxious, and the guys are getting pissed off because the girls won't shut up because they're doing their Valley Girl shit. And then we jump to this part where jock Jeffrey boyfriend is parked in his convertible, what is the thing with 90s movies and fucking convertibles? I don't know. And she jumps over and she kisses him, and then that's when the sexist friend says the shit that he says. And then the guy that's in the back seat, the eyebrow guy with the like weird mouth a little bit, he gets out and goes walking, it looks like in a park, and as I think what happens. Oh, as Jeffrey and Buffy's character go to hang out at their house. So then you kind of know that he's going to get, gotten.
Yep, he's getting stalked by Pee Wee Herman's character again. Yep. I didn't write his name down.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, good lord.
Is his? I'm gonna look and see if I can find his name in here. It
starts with an A. I did look it up, but I just kept writing Pee Wee Herman the whole time through. Because his getup in this film, this is the first film that he did after he got arrested for indecent exposure in the early 90s. Oh. So it's kind of a crap thing that happened to him. He was in an adult theater doing what people do in an adult theater and got found, and they just ran him through the mud with it and stuff. And his mugshot is the first time that you'd ever seen him outside of his Pee Wee Herman look. So he has longer hair and a goatee. So he was like, fuck it, this is how I'm going to look in this movie. So he rocks the goatee and the longer hair and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
So yeah, the eyebrows guy is getting stalked by Pee Wee Herman, and then Buffy is having a flashback dream of being a vampire slayer. And Pee Wee starts talking to Rutger Hauer's character, was it
Lothos,
mm-hmm. and telling him how he's starting to build him a vampire family. So we cut to the girls at a bar. It looks like, and these are high school seniors or what. None of this makes sense.
No,
they're sitting there, and Pike and Benny are there, just kind of hanging out and everything. And the girls are saying that they're trashed, and Pike's like, "Well, that would explain the slurred speech." And it's meant to be played.
Good one, Pike.
Yeah, it's meant to be played as this joke. This is the best that could have come. This is fucking.
The whole movie, yeah. And then this was my favorite part. Probably one of the best parts in the whole movie was we get Ricky Lake being their waitress.
Oh, is that?
and her name is Charlotte. She even tells us her name in the movie. And when I was thinking about this and I was talking about this, so Crybaby is one of my most favorite movies of all time, and she plays a character in that movie. And that was a year or two before this movie came out. That was released. So she was doing some acting during this time. I did not know that until I saw this. I was like, I thought Crybaby was the only thing she was in, but yeah, she was in this too.
Yeah, she was in a few things prior to her getting her talk show in the 90s.
Okay. See, I didn't know any of that.
Yep. So I just have it. Luke and Dave, it's Benny and Pike, are walking home drinking and stuff, and Pee Wee.
You're missing stuff. Again.
Oh God! Are you okay? Go ahead.
Just let me do this. You can cut me off if you need to. Because I'm going to take you out of your misery here. you can cut in when you need to, you guys. So at the bar, they have no money, and the only money they can get is a hot dog. And Benny
drops change on
the thing. Benny gets a hot dog, and Luke gets the bun. And he makes some lewd comment with the hot dog to the girls and showing it where his wiener is, this is his wiener. And she slices it with a butter knife or something, cuts it down. And then they make some lewd joke about penises and stuff. And then Luke Perry spits out his hot dog bun. And that was supposed to be a really funny scene. And it was just kind of, again, pretty fucking cringy. And then that's
when were you choking on a bun.
Yeah.
90% of these jokes, 99% of the jokes don't land in this film.
Don't hit, yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, the guys are all stumbling around drinking, and they're sitting on a ledge, and Benny's looking back over this ledge, and Paul Rubin's character comes in, and he just takes him, and then Luke Perry, his character Pike, falls on the ground, and that's when Merrick comes and saves him, randomly showing up to save him out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, at that point, I thought those two were together. I thought Merrick and Pee Wee Herman's character were in cahoots because of that. They kind of come at the same time. Also, does it look like David Arquette's character already has vampire teeth?
Well, he has a golden tooth.
It looked like he had big teeth already, and then they just made them bigger.
Maybe
later on. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know either. It was, yeah. Well, and then we cut to the part where Buffy is in the gym and she's like doing gymnast shit. And this is where you realize that she can like, you know,
she's doing tumbling because Donald Sutherland does give her a thumbs up on her tumbling.
Yeah, and then that's when Merrick comes like randomly in the middle of a high school gymnasium, just standing there like gawking at this teenager who's miraculously by herself, which is also very strange in the school. And then he's trying to talk to her to go to a graveyard with him, even though she has no clue who he is. So creep factor number 10. And he finally talks to her about her dreams and all the stuff that she has and kind of slowly starts convincing her. But then she goes into the locker room. Is that where we're at next?
This is the part of my notes where it just says, this is not good.
No, I believe this is the part where he follows her into the locker room.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And she's got like this montage on the inside of her locker. There's nobody there again. And you have an old, dirty old man in the locker room with a teenage girl. Yes.
$7 million film.
Yeah. Maybe it was for the glued papers to her locker. I mean, it's freaking weird. So then he's talking to her, still telling her about all this shit. I'm not even going to go into the details because it's not worth your time or mine. And she's like, go away. I've got stuff to do. I don't believe in your stuff. So he throws a knife at her face.
Just like you do.
Yep. And then she catches it and she loses her shit on him. And then he's still trying to convince her. And she stabs it. Like he sits down. Why are you sitting down in a girl's locker room? I don't know. And she stabs the knife between his legs on the bench. Again, you threw a knife at her face. It's weird. He's like, I had to show you that you were the one because yes.
Yeah, he says only the chosen one could have done that. Caught a knife. That's the
stipulation.
Shit! I fucking stabbed another girl in the face with a knife. It must not have been her.
Yep.
Like, is that really how this is fucking supposed to work?
Yep.
Like out of nowhere, he just chucks like a Bowie knife at her. She snap claps it. Is like, yes, you are the chosen.
Yeah. I'm not worried about killing you. Yeah. And then as they're in there, then she gets pissed at him for this and she punches him in the face and he slides back on the seat that he's sitting on the bench. And then we go to the graveyard and she starts getting cramps when they get near. And in this show, I can't remember if it's like this in the TV show because I don't believe it's not. She gets period cramps when she's around vampires, which is the dumbest shit ever. And so she's there and they're just waiting this out basically in a graveyard with a guy that she doesn't know. And she's a teenage girl and they're waiting for these people to dig out of their graves who have just recently died in order to put them to their forever death with stakes through the heart. And then magically she's just really good at this. And magically she's also like, apparently these stakes go in super easy. Because that was weird in itself. Like there felt like there was no real like oomph behind her actions. Like it was just like tap and you're dead.
Yep, she's basically stabbing piñatas with stakes. Like it's just like whoop, and they're just dead. Like it's
complete with sound.
Yeah, literally a lot of
A lot of Power Ranger noises happening.
Yes. And then we cut to the part where, and I could be missing stuff because this is what's on my notes. So we cut to the part where Pike is in his apartment and he's got this big bay window above an automotive store or something along those lines. And Benny is floating outside his window and asking him to come inside. And this is probably the best scene in the entire movie, in my opinion, because it's funny. And he's like, I'm hungry. And like, it's just, and he's like, but dude, you're floating. And I'm like, that was actually a good scene.
Yeah.
But
because Benny just keeps like, he's like floating there and it's like talking to him. And he's just like, come on, invite me in. Come on, man, invite me in. Just like the whole vampire shtick. But yeah, like it's just literally like, come on, man, I'm hungry. He's like, you're floating. And it's just like beat to beat. Like it's literally, like you said, like one of the very few jokes in this movie that works where it's just like, I'm floating or I'm hungry. You're floating. And that's it. That's the only time it's like, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
One other time I laugh in this film.
Yeah. Well, and then after this, okay, so I got the knife and the punching in the nose out of the way. It was actually, he shows back up after her school when she doesn't show up to do training with him, and that's when he shows up in her locker room. So there's 2 school scenes like back to back for the most part, because then she's mad at him. That's why she punches him in the nose, because he takes her to the graveyard and didn't tell her while she was there, as if it was just normal to go to a graveyard. Anyway, between all of that, Lothos wakes up. And he has like this weird coffin bed in the floor that has red lighting. It's the dumbest fucking 80s looking shit I have seen. It was very cheesy.
I don't know if it's supposed to be cool. Like that's like someone like the review said, like campy and stuff like that. Like so much of this stuff, like it's I don't know how you're supposed to take it. Like it's
I don't
just
either.
It's not cool. It's not scary. It's not funny. Like it's.
Yeah. It's got to be one of those things, though.
It's got to be something.
Yeah, and it's not hitting like it's supposed to. Like it's missing the mark by a foot, and so that's where it is. So then, basically, we start our training, and I think this is when you were talking about like. I'm glad they don't do montages in movies anymore, because
not like this.
Her training scene and learning how to fight and stuff is like literally 4 minutes long, probably.
Yeah. Yep. And it's just, they took a song. It was like a 4 to 5 minute long song. They didn't edit the song down for time or anything. They just let the song play and just edit a bunch of action shots over top of this. And it's her kicking a heavy bag, her doing some like Tybo bullshit.
Yeah. And then he's like talking to her. I think it was during the scene. This is what I found really strange is like he barely knows this girl, and he's talking about how special she is and how she might be more special than the other girls, like Merrick is, like her trainer. And I'm just like, how would you know this? Like, and she's a Valley girl who is just she's kind of like the stereotypical dumb blonde. Mm-hmm. And like, it just didn't hit for me anyway. So then she's showing up to school late, and the principal calls her in and asks her if she's on the drugs. And this is where you can talk about it, honey, because you like this scene.
I like the principal.
Yeah, I like the principal. I don't have his name up in front of me.
He's the guy from Office Space.
Yeah, it's Milton Wadhams from Office Space. He's also a dad in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's the dude.
He is a dad in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, I forgot about that. He's Boyle's dad.
Yep.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this dude's been in a crap ton of television shows, movies. His IMDb like acting credits are like for 250 some odd things.
Oh, nice.
And I believe this is one of his first roles. He was also like in Dodgeball and stuff. But yeah, he's just like, I did some drugs once, and he talks about being like at an Allman Brothers show and taking some acid and how he could see the sound rolling off the stage, and he does a good job. Like it doesn't make me laugh or anything, but like he definitely plays his part well. He's one of the few characters in this movie that I did like. I like the principal. I like Benny, and I like Paul Rubin's character in this film. Yeah, that's pretty accurate in my opinion too. Yeah. And then while she's sitting in there hearing about the acid trip, she grabs a thumbtack off of his desk, and she spits it at a fly, and it like tacks through it on the wall. And then my note says Merrick is then explaining to her later after this that he is constantly reborn. So his entire purpose in this world is just to find the Slayer, teach her, but it doesn't give any other information. Like the lacking of just information in this movie and just expecting you to accept it at face value is just abysmal. Like it's criminal, because he says that like he's lived 100 lives training Slayers, and she's like, well, I'm different than the other ones, and he's like, oh, are you? And this is supposed to be just like a fuck yeah line, and it's so cringy. She's like, it is. Yeah, none of them had my keen fashion sense. Oh, yeah. I died. I literally, not figuratively, I literally died. I am a ghost now.
I think at this point, my 8-year-old was like, Mom, this movie's terrible.
Yeah, and then we get to the scene where like Pike's trying to leave town in his van, and he gets like taken over by these vampires, and fucking Paul Rubens is on his roof and he sticks his hand through the top and he loses an arm, and then he has no arm for the rest of the movie. Like, he's missing this arm.
Yeah, he's attacking the van and stuff. He punches through the top. Luke Perry's Pike, crashes into a tree, which causes Paul Rubens to fly off, cutting his arm off, and he gets up and looks at Pike and is like, "You ruined my new jacket," and looks at the other vampires. And I love that, like, this line just rules, because he's just like, "You ruined my new jacket. Kill him a lot." And I did like that. Like, I like that line. You're just like, don't just kill him a lot.
Yeah, that was the lovely. And well, then Buffy just shows up randomly out of fucking nowhere again, and she's like, "Save the day, we're here. We're just gonna let our period cramps lead us to the vampires." So, and then you get to see more during the scene of the vampire ears, and I can never let this go in any movie, because like the TV show has very unique vampire like face skeletal stuff when they turn into vampires, and it's not appealing, at least not in the first few seasons. It's done poorly in my opinion, but the ears in this movie were just why, like, it's almost like they took the tips of the ears and tried to make them look like bat wings, is kind of what I thought they were trying to do, but it kind of just makes them look goblin-esque.
They just look mangled.
Yeah. And then I have a thing that says lots of sexist crap. So I'm wondering if this is the part where she goes in the school and the guy grabs her ass again. I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It might be that part.
And then she like taekwondo's him to the ground.
Yeah.
Warranted.
Yeah,
because Buffy whoops some high schooler ass is what I've got. And then after that, it's vampire basketball game.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
don't even have that in my notes.
That's what we needed.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Ben Affleck has entered the chat now. So
there you go. Give him one line.
And what were you telling us off mic earlier?
He screwed it up so poorly that they just cut their losses and dubbed over with him. and I think it's like a 3-word sentence of like, "Come on, man," or something like that. It's just like, that's it. And he couldn't do it well enough.
No, well, I don't know why it would have mattered, because nobody did anything well in this movie for the most part.
But that's the part.
That's the part they had to cut. Yeah,
they couldn't accept that.
Oh my God.
Well, then she chases. Okay, so then we have the dude from the beginning of the movie that Paul Rubens' character turns into a vamp. He's playing basketball.
Eyebrows.
Yeah, that's what we'll call him. Eyebrows. So then she chases after him. She like goes into the court, tries to get him, chases after him, somehow magically steals a motorcycle.
And knows how to drive it.
Yeah.
Prior to this, Donald Sutherland tells her, like, don't let them find out that you're the Slayer or anything like that. Like, this is like maybe just a scene before we get to this basketball game, and she's just like, I'm on the basketball court kicking this vampire's ass. Cover blown. Like, no chill about this at all.
But they never explain why they can't know either. So like there's like so many freaking plot holes in this movie. It's disgusting. So then she magically steals like this bike. And then instead of the guys, like just the guy she's stealing it from says something, he calls her a dyke or something, like a slur. And like, I was like, what's this is disgusting.
Yeah. Because he's basically like, you want some real like power between your legs and stuff. And then she like throws him off the bike, gets on the bike, and is like, you're a dyke. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell everybody that you're a dyke. And it's just like, what's the purpose of this?
Yeah. And like, I understand it was the 90s. So like the time for talking like that was a little more widely accepted, but like, that's not funny or anything. Like, that's just disgusting.
It doesn't come off funny. It's not like, I don't understand its purpose in the film. Like, it just happens, and you're just like, okay.
Oh, yeah. And then magically she rides past Pike's character, and he's messing with a dirt bike at the time, and he follows her again out of nowhere. They're crossing paths again in this city, and then he follows her to a fucking, what is it, like a parade float place. And then that's where like we have this showdown with some vamps, and that Lothos dude shows up, and this part makes absolutely no sense to me. He's like trying to lure Buffy in, and like, but the one guy's like, she's not ready. What is she not ready for?
Yeah. So is she supposed to become a vampire, or is she supposed to?
I don't know.
Kill the guy.
She's not ready to be taken by Lothos is essentially what they kind of allude to throughout this movie. That it's almost like
supposed to kill him.
Yeah, it's this whole, I think they're trying to play on the thing of like evil corrupting good. So she's supposed to be the only line of defense for humanity, and he's supposed to corrupt her and make her his.
But isn't Eric supposed to be on Buffy's side?
But this makes it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Mm-mm. No, and then he like Merrick pulls out like this stake, and then what? Like he goes like to slowly stab a vampire in the chest, and I was like, I have never seen such a slow motion vampire killing. And of course, he just turns it around and kills Merrick, and then the death is just like bloop, we're done.
What's with the handkerchief?
It never makes sense. He's always
he's just like touching his face.
He's chewing on it at one point.
Oh,
it's weird. It doesn't fucking make any sense. And this is what Donald Sutherland wanted this character to be.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then he says when he's dying or whatever, says something about when the music stops.
Yeah.
So like he knows how things are supposed to play out. And then eventually she just becomes less Valley Girl. So she's like standing up to all the girls that she was friends with and stuff. And they're still living in their little fantasy world. And now she's kind of opened her eyes, and she's, you do see like a growth in Buffy's character throughout the movie, but it's very minimal. Like obviously you're not getting a whole lot. This whole movie is just full of plot holes and ridiculousness. And then she shows up to their dance because they're having like one of their school dances, and she's wearing like a fucking wedding dress. Like I was just like, why are we doing this?
Well, you're missing one little part.
Okay.
So Pike is riding like this dope ass Triumph motorcycle and comes upon Buffy, and she's kind of having this identity crisis about not wanting to be the chosen one and all this stuff. Yep. And Pike's kind of talking to her, and I've got written down, she like, again, it's supposed to be like, you can tell that like this line's supposed to be very like, yeah, or whatever. And it's like, I'm the chosen one and I choose to be shopping.
Yep.
Not good.
No.
Fucking God. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah. Well, and then I think he's riding his bike though in like a fucking shopping mall. So he's not even on a road. Like he's riding in the middle of a mall on a motorcycle. Like what?
It's at this time that Benny then finds out Buffy's name. So now it's like, oh yes, we have Buffy. Her name, but it knowing her name has power. It doesn't fucking make sense.
I don't know.
I think it was to like bring all the other vampires to her. Like it's Buffy. This is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We didn't figure it out when she was on the basketball court fighting the vampire. But okay.
Yep. Yeah,
well, the fact that they've already met, but that's
yeah, and don't worry, guys. Like we're almost done with this movie. Like we're almost there. Like the terribleness is about to end.
Here's the climax. God.
Yeah, this is our climax of our film where they're having their dance. She shows up in that wedding dress, and like the montage of like, oh, she's walking into the room, and then magically the vampires start breaking into the school, and she's like, well, they're not going to get in, and then. Is it what's her name?
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank's character's like, but I invited them in. They're teenagers and high schoolers.
They're all seniors.
Seniors. Yeah, make me gag. This was so stupid. So
this was this after Luke Perry just wandered in as like the knight in shining armor? They're like, I'm here for your dance.
Yeah, are we?
Because I don't remember the rundown of that. It might.
There was a whole
he was
whole thing of like. Your boyfriend's with somebody else, and it's so sad. And then Luke Perry's just like, "I'm here."
Yes.
Are we supposed to believe that Luke Perry dropped out of school and is like her age, or is this motherfucker like an adult, like coming to a senior dance?
I think it's the latter. Yeah, I think he's out of school and
he's drinking alcohol all the time, like in public out of a flask. So I'm assuming like he's not. Stealing
he has his own place.
Yeah. I'm assuming he's like over the age of 21, hanging out with a teenager and then bringing her some steaks. The wooden kind, not
the delicious kind.
Yeah. And it's just weird. And then she goes out to fight these vamps in the movie, like
with his jacket,
and her dress.
It's a very iconic look.
Yeah, it is.
It's an iconic look, like the leather jacket with the white dress. It's like a very cool look. Like I'll give them that.
They do that in Chucky too, right? Like that's what's her bride in Chucky.
She does.
Yeah.
She wears the same kind of clothes in that, but her bottom of her dress magically rips perfectly when she's
like
going to go out.
Whistle.
Yep. Yeah. Because we just had to add the cheese factor. And
Yep. So this is about the time where all the vampires start to descend upon the school. Buffy starts piecing some vamps apart and stuff.
And there are 2 Wizard of Oz references. In this
I wrote that too. I saw that. I did. I wrote that too. Yes.
Yeah.
The Toto one, and then your little dog or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's that one. There's one before that one. I think it's like the Cowardly
Benny.
Lion. Maybe.
Yeah, Benny's like, come on, put them up. Like,
yeah,
that's it. I wrote that.
Yep. So that's all after this slow dance that this starts happening and everything. And then we got a problem. And what is it? I think Luke Perry's like, we got a problem and I got a bag full of solutions.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So he brings her the steak. She starts fucking people up. Vamps have taken over the party. Yep. There it is. I'll get you, Buffy, and your little dog too. Is
not good.
Oh, that's what it is. This line is delivered by Paul Rubens. Because he's like, I'll get you, Buffy, and your little dog too. And he's like behind her, and I love, like, this is all good for me because like he's like, do you ever feel not so fresh? And it's from a tampon commercial in the 90s. Like, and you hear this like light violin playing, and we get, in my opinion, the best vampire death to ever be shot on screen.
It's good. It is good.
This is the scene that I was oh no, this movie's not bad. Like, remembering my childhood, this movie's pretty good. I remember loving this scene. Go ahead.
That's it. Yeah. She stabs Paul Rubens' character, the vampire, and she gets him pretty good. And Lothos, the other guy that's playing the violin, standing there, and he allows her to do this. So he's like, I don't care if you off my dude that's been taking care of everything. And he grabs himself, and he has the slowest vampire death, but it's a lot of the ooh, ooh, and I'm just like, this is awesome.
He like scrunches down on his knees and taking little small steps, 3 kicks to the wall, and then just falls down on his face dead.
Yep,
done.
That is so good.
That's a great scene.
It was.
This movie could have been great if it was just that shit all the time. It's not.
Yeah.
No. And then basically, I can't even remember all the ins and outs of this because, like, he's trying to lure the Lothos, the main big bad in this. Well, I'm going to use that term loosely, but the big bad in this movie, he's like trying to get with Buffy and she's not having it. And then she pulls out a crucifix or something. And he was like, that's not going to do anything. And she's like, well, yeah. And she catches it on fire. And then she's like, what are you going to do with that or some shit? I honestly don't know because I don't care. Remember. I don't either. And she's like, yeah, but my keen fashion sense. And she lights his head on fire with
some of the worst special effects.
Yeah. Just quickly.
That's where the millions of dollars went.
Right there.
Yep.
We're slashing that little scene.
Yep.
Yeah, at this point, I've got written down, Lothos is lame as fuck.
Yeah. He gets taken out by hairspray.
Well, no, he comes out. You're forgetting. He comes out and we have a vampire sword fight.
Oh, yeah.
I've forgotten that part.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not over yet.
So bad.
But Luke Perry is fighting Benny, which is David Arquette's character, during this whole time, and they're in like the actual school and they're just going at it with each other. And I liked the ending of that where like he grabs Benny and shoves him against the electrical thing, which is weird that it's in the school gymnasium, which makes no sense, but whatever. And he just gets electrocuted, and I liked that part because like there was a lot of funny parts that were kind of shared between the two of them during that. But man, it was rough.
Before the vampire sword fight, we do get the principal again, the acid tripping principal, handing out detentions to dead vampires. I liked that. Detention. I like that. Then you get this really lame ass sword fight. The music stops. She goes, "Oh, the music stops. fucking kills Lothos.
Oh yeah. My notes don't say any of that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even write it. This is how my notes go. Principal hands out detentions to dead vampires. Vampire sword fight. What the fuck? Lothos dead. I stopped. That was it.
Yeah.
And then there was like the little commentary of like Luke Perry being like, "Did I do all of that?" Buffy's like, "No, I did all of that," with like all the death.
Yep.
On them. It's like, yeah, we get it.
And then the movie ends and we get like news reporter talking about the school dance and stuff. It's just kind of wraps some stuff up.
Yeah, that was that was the movie.
Roll.
Well,
credits.
we do get a credit scene though of Paul Rubin's character dying again.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's about it.
Yeah. And we also get her boyfriend Jeffrey with the girl that he's now going, which is her friend that he's now going out with, and she's like, I can't believe he made me do that. Like
talking about having, I can't believe I let you do that to me.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right.
Yep.
He basically she lost her virginity to this guy is what it seems like or something, and she's just
that was lost on me.
No,
Wow.
This movie was hard.
It was.
Right.
I can't even remember any of the sequences half the time because it's just kind of like one big mush of just shit.
The movie has literally like 5 minutes of good stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it's 82 minutes and it felt like it was 2 hours long.
It was hard.
It did.
It was so hard to get through.
It was a marathon.
It was.
All right. So obviously we have some ringing endorsements for this film. Who wants to unleash on it first?
Go for it, Steph.
Okay, so I am apologizing to my fellow hosts here for putting you through this torture. I am sorry.
Apology accepted. You also had to go through it.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
Guess what? I'll put you through stuff too. It's okay.
I know. Well, okay, so last night I was like, this wasn't worse than Strangers because we watched that. And then I was like, the more that we're talking about it and the plot holes and everything, I'm like, Strangers was way better than this. And I didn't even like that movie.
God.
This was worse than a lot of things I've watched.
Yeah, it was one of those movies that I probably, if I didn't have to watch it for this, I would have stopped it like way before.
Oh, yeah.
It does not hold up at all. And I'm gonna go out with rating wise 1 through 10. I'm gonna give it a very fair 2.
Ooh.
All right. Tasha?
The only, like, talking about it, it's fun to talk about, but watching it, I got up so many times. It was rough. I'm giving it a 1.
Okay.
1.
Yeah, it was bad. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't watch it again. I didn't want to finish it.
Nope.
I'm 1.
I gave this movie a certain score.
Okay.
We began to talk about it. The score went down.
Really?
And then it went down even more. And then I realized that my nostalgia for this film led me to buy this on Blu-ray for this viewing because I thought it was going to I was going to relive part of my childhood. This is something that I wanted for the collection. So because of that, it went down some more. And because of that,
Amazon has a return policy, so we can return it.
Yeah, I'm totally returning this.
I felt cheated having to rent it. I can't imagine buying the Blu-ray.
Yeah. So for that, I'm also giving this film an amazing 2 Paul Rubens deaths out of 10.
Yeah. Yes. But I do want to talk. Go ahead, honey, and then I want to talk about the TV show.
Yeah, I did. I originally gave it like a 4, but then that was just comparing it to like other films I've seen and stuff. Like I've seen some fucking horribly garbage films and stuff, but like just really going through this, I'm like, this for its budget and how the fuck, like where did the money go? This is so bad, so bad. So yeah, it's a 2. This is gutter garbage to the nth degree.
It is. But you also have to think about, like, if you watch crappy movies, that doesn't mean that they have crappy plots. They just are made badly sometimes. And sometimes maybe they're bad plots, but like this has everything bad. Like there's not any redeeming qualities overall.
Yeah.
It doesn't play on any note. Okay, so it's a campy horror comedy film. The camp doesn't work.
Nope.
The comedy doesn't work. The horror doesn't work. None of it works. It's bad, bad, bad.
It needed to be more to be campy in my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just really, and I can't even just chalk it up to like, well, it's 92 and blah, blah, blah. I've seen campy horror films from the 80s and 90s that all still work. This is fucking bad.
Yes.
The only reason that it's not a 1 out of 10 is because it still achieved itself at being a film. And hold on. It is a film.
That's the number one, that's the base criteria for this podcast.
So that's where it would have. It was a movie. So it gets a point for being a movie. And then it had 5 minutes worth of things that I remember from my childhood and got to rewatch.
Wow.
So it gets a point from that.
Okay, and I don't have that childhood quality in it at all. So it's a movie.
Yep.
So we got a 1.
That's it.
It was horrible. But okay, so let me talk about this for a second. This movie was created by the same guy. Like, he created this, and then he created Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV series. Now, the TV series is dated, I'm not gonna lie, because I've watched it as an adult. Like, I watched some of it when I was younger, and then I rewatched the entire series once it became like on a streaming service. And then I went and watched the Angel series that follows right after that. And this show is so much better. It is well plotted. The graphics are dated because of the age of the movie or the show. But other than that, it's really good. So like, the characters are well developed. You don't have Valley Girl shit. Like, it's not, Sarah Michelle Gellar plays Buffy in that series, and you don't get any of that. Our Merrick in the show, isn't Merrick, his name is like Niles or Giles or something like that. He's like a librarian. So like, you get really built relationships with the characters. There's more than just vampires in the show. There's like witches and some other things, and they don't throw around. Well, they may, because I can't attest to that because I haven't seen it in a while. But like, they have they are inclusive in that sense, where they have a lesbian character and some other things, which I really enjoyed about that show. So they're a little more inclusive in that way. But the movie is just a pile of crap, like I said, and the TV show is worth a watch if you're a huge vampire fan like I am.
Cool. One last little thing, considering you're talking about the television series and stuff. So the screenwriter, Joss Whedon, so he's the one that went on and created the television show, was so frustrated by how much of his vision was being mishandled and how much of it was being rewritten that he eventually left the set during production and just never came back.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Yeah, because if you think about this dude that made this movie, and then he's got this credit to it, and then he came out and made the Avengers movies, and he made all these other really big iconic shows and other movies, that's just crazy to be associated that way and have this dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really rough. I'm sorry to everyone that has watched this in preparation for today's episode. But it's okay. We got it over with. We did. We gave it a collective between the three of us 5 stars if you add all of our numbers together. So if that makes you feel better. 5 out of 30.
Yeah, that's a 17%.
There you go.
Oh my God. I'd have more respect for a 0%.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm glad this week is over.
Oh my God.
What's next?
Well, no, I have to edit this episode. I'm going to have to re-listen to everything and relive all this.
You're welcome.
What do you got, Tasha?
Oh no, we're good.
Okay.
What are we watching next?
Yeah, what's next?
All right. Next week, we're watching a good horror comedy. 80s horror classic, one of my favorites. We are watching Reanimator.
Oh, shit. Okay. I've never heard of this movie. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. So
likewise, I haven't seen it. I only know Nick's love of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Okay.
So Reanimator, 80s. I can't remember the exact year. I want to say it's like 1988.
Okay.
So that's what we'll be going over next week. So for Pot of the Dead, I am Nicholas.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tasha.
And come back and listen to us, or else.